In a quaint little town nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, there lived a renowned clockmaker. His shop was famous throughout the land, and people would travel from far and wide to have him repair their broken clocks or to purchase one of his exquisitely crafted timepieces. One day, a young apprentice asked his master, "How is it that your clocks are so precise? How do they manage to keep perfect time?" The master clockmaker smiled mysteriously and replied, "It is because I make sure to use only the finest materials and to hone each gear to the greatest accuracy. Without these, my clocks simply wouldn't function." The apprentice pondered this for a moment, then asked, "But master, there are so many gears inside those clocks, all of them moving in perfect harmony. How can we possibly ensure that every single one is functioning flawlessly?" The clockmaker stopped his work and looked at his apprentice with a twinkle in his eye. He said, "Ah, that's where you are mistaken, my boy. It's not just the big, perfectly crafted gears that move the hands of the clock. Even the smallest, seemingly insignificant gear plays a crucial role in keeping time accurately. You see, time would stand still if it weren't for those tiny gears working tirelessly in the background." The apprentice was puzzled. He couldn't understand how such a small part could have such a significant impact. The clockmaker then took a small gear and placed it in the palm of his hand. "Do you see this gear here? It may seem quite ordinary to you, but without it, our clocks would be useless." The apprentice examined the gear closely, but it looked no different than the many others he'd seen before. "But master, what makes this gear so special? How can one small gear stop all the clocks in the world?" The clockmaker smiled and said, "This little gear, like all the others, has a specific job to do. It might seem insignificant, but without it, the larger gears can't function. And if the bigger gears don't work, then the hands of the clock won't move at all." The apprentice still didn't quite understand, so the clockmaker decided to show him. He took the gear and placed it in a small vise. Then he began to turn one of the larger gears, but no movement occurred in the hands of the clock. As you can see, without this little gear, the larger gears cannot function. And if the bigger gears don't work, then time itself would cease to move forward. The apprentice realized that he had been wrong. Every gear, no matter how big or small, was important and had a purpose. He thanked his master for teaching him this valuable lesson. From that day on, the apprentice worked even harder, knowing that his seemingly insignificant tasks were actually very important. He understood that everyone, no matter how small or insignificant they may seem, has a role to play in the grand scheme of things. And so it is in our lives as well. We may not always be able to see the bigger picture, but we must remember that every action, big or small, has an impact on the world around us. Just like the gears in the clock, we all work together to keep the wheels of life turning. Sometimes we are the big gears, moving with precision and accuracy, and sometimes we are the small gears, working tirelessly in the background. But without either, the clock, the world, would cease to function. The moral of the story is that everyone's role matters. No matter how small or insignificant we may seem, we all have a purpose, and our actions have an impact on the world around us. Just like the gears in the clock, we all work together to make the world go round. So let us strive to do our best in everything we do, for we are all part of something much bigger than ourselves.